Upgrades. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. This film here is a film that the pedigree in front of the camera, I kind of assumed this would be an Oscar film. I thought it from the beginning. It's based off of a novel that is amazing. And I thought, okay, this could be an Oscar caliber film. Instead, this became kind of a pop culture phenomenon film instead. On Netflix at that. And this one is called Leave the World Behind. Here's a quick synopsis. A family vacation on Long Island is interrupted by two strangers bearing news of a blackout. As the threat grows, both families must decide how best to survive the potential crisis while grappling with their own place in a collapsing world. And this one is directed by Esmail. It stars Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, and Ethan Hawke. As I brought up, this is based off of a best-selling novel, same name as the film. Here with Sam, when they were putting together this film, they decided to take certain liberties. One of the biggest liberties is changing his wife's role in the book to his daughter's role in the film. That was a big change, but it's a big change that made perfectly good sense when you see this film. Now, as we're introduced to these characters of Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, it just seems like we're introduced to two overworked parents who just want to get away and decide to rent an Airbnb and to take their kids away for the weekend. And then normal stuff happens. One, they have a daughter who's obsessed with Friends, which is an ongoing theme in his movie. She's absolutely obsessed with Friends and getting to the end of Friends. And just a son who's just a normal teenager. And again, as we're introduced to these characters, we're introduced to people who just seem to be stressed and want to get away. We meet on their road to this Airbnb very other interesting characters. No one really to highlight except for a little role at the beginning of this film by Kevin Bacon. But when this film really takes off is when we get to to the night of them being in the Airbnb and we get the arrival of Mahershala Ali and his daughter. This is where the film takes a turn, where he's just telling them it's a blackout. Something's going on. We wanted to come to somewhere safe because Julie Roberts' character cannot pull up her confirmation email. She can't confirm that this is the owner of the house as he's saying that he is here. It's a lot of tension in this setup. A lot of M. Night Shyamalan tension in the way this film is set up here. But once we get Ethan Hawke's character, lets them in, and he's such an just inviting person, you get a picture of Julia Roberts' character here as just a mean-spirited person. I'm not going to use the other word that clearly it comes across as it's her possibly being here, but we're just going to say that she's just mean-spirited here when it comes to letting them in this house. And I think that's the thing that sets up the tensions that's necessary to move the plot forward. As then strange things start happening. As the TVs no longer work. The internet is out. Their daughter, Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke's daughter just happens to see random deer in a backyard. Very spooky deer at that in the backyard. And all of these things are used to set up the premise that something is happening in the world and a change is occurring, that they're just unaware of what's happening. That's the crux of Leave the World Behind, is that we get all of these individuals trapped in this house and they're trying to figure out what the heck is happening in the world. And we get little hints from time to time. We get a little hint from Mahershala character as him and his daughter is talking, and supposedly he knows certain people who have dropped enough hints to let him know that something big is about to happen, but they don't know what it is. While at the same time, Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke characters are completely left in the dark. The reason I'm being so vague is because this movie needs you to be vague, because it needs you to invest into exactly everything that's going on. This is a slow burn, an extremely slow burn. And at times it can feel pointless while you're watching it. But if you're willing to stick it out, if you're willing to go through the rest of this film, it is a satisfying conclusion, especially when you get to the second half of this film, with the way everything is laid out. And then you start to notice as the plot points are like trickle down to you that maybe we're in an apocalyptic type of film. That's the way it feels at times here. But what you're really in tune for here is Mahershala and Julia's performance. That's what you're here for. Mahershala is amazing in this film as the father, as just someone who's trying his best to reassure his daughter, one, that they'll be okay, reassure his daughter, his wife will be okay, her mom will be okay. At the same time, trying to have this environment of their home be safe for everyone. And on the flip side, you have Julia Roberts, who at times it comes across as just a complaining person or just a nasty person. But then when you think about the premise of this film, which is she's just a mother with her kids and her husband away on a trip, and then these people show up that she has the slightest idea who they are. And they have interrupted everything and then brought them some of the worst news humanly possible. And how do you deal and how do you cope with it? That's the main purpose of this film, is how do you cope in matters of stress? Because that's the key part of both of these characters and both of these roles in this film, is coping with stress. And as the film progresses, as we see them getting closer, as we see them attempting to build relationship out of a traumatic situation, we get to understand the characters even more. And the more you get to understand the characters, the better the performances get. Now, while this is not neither one of their best performances, it's a solid performance built upon Sam's amazing selection of a score here, cinematography here. Again, it feels like a better executed M. Night Shyamalan film. Knock at the Cabin in the Woods, which came out this year, it has the same feel to it. This one just seems to be executed better than it was, because he does a great job of building up tension with little to no action. Right? It's one big action piece in this film of a plane crash, which laws of physics just throw them out the window. It doesn't make sense. But it's the big action moment of this film. But besides that, it's a really talky slow burn that really builds upon a horror movie feel in a drama. And on that premise alone, it's going to keep you intrigued till you get to the end, till you get to the big reveal in the third act about exactly what could possibly be going on. Because the film never gives you a clear, concise answer of exactly what's going on. It leaves enough doors open where it allows your mind to roam into what could possibly be happening without telling you exactly what's happening. And I think that is a talent that not too many directors have, where you can do that and just let a film coast on your actors' performances. So again, for this film, you're strictly tuning into it for the performances. Both of them are amazing. They have some amazing shots, some amazing set pieces. At the beginning of this film, it's an amazing, thrilling moment set up by a boat. And the way it's set up by the boat is that we see a boat far offshore that look like it's heading straight to the beach. But it's so far off, no one worries about it. Then slowly but surely, as the time goes by, it gets a little closer. And they're like, well, let's keep our eye on it. Like, wow, it's amazing that big boat is getting that close. And then you get to the point where that boat is clearly about to crash into everything. And I love the way that it was shot. Because it literally was shot like this is about to be the most dangerous thing in the world, when in all honesty, that situation wouldn't actually be that dangerous, because it's crashing into a beach. So it's going to get to a point where it can't move at all. Anyway, but it's set up so... It sets up such a thrilling moment that it kind of gets the audience in tune to possibly the way the rest of the film is going to work. How we're going to set up these thrilling moments with little to no action and have you stick around for the actor's emotion as these things happening in this film. And that's what you get with Leave the World Behind. So, Leave the World Behind, currently available on Netflix. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Leave the World Behind a 7.5 out of 10. You're in it for the performances. You're in it for a horror movie score attached to a drama. Those are the two reasons that you're in this film. Yes, it is. It is definitely not perfected as well as it could have been. This could have been an amazingly paced, like Children of Men type of dramatic thriller, or it's another film that played at TIFF this year, The End from Where We Start From, where it did the same exact thing. It took a moment where the world is falling apart and had such thrilling aspects to it that it pushed the story forward along with great performances. Here, this film falls a little short of that film, but it's still extremely enjoyable. While most people will be extremely disappointed by the end of this film because the film does not give you a clear conclusion, I think it as long as you let your mind wander with the film, I think you will enjoy it even more. But check it out. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.